Let's turn to Hawaii now, where the number of people killed by wildfires on the island of Maui has now risen to 80. It's the US state's deadliest ever natural disaster. What you're seeing now is drone footage from the all but destroyed town of Lahaina. As you can see, structures are completely leveled, trees stripped, and the devastation is reaching all the way to the shoreline. Hawaii's Attorney General has begun a probe into how the authorities responded to the fires after some residents said they never received any warning. Our North America correspondent Sophie Long reports from Maui.
The historic city of Lahaina, once the capital of the Hawaiian kingdom, has been reduced to ruins. Almost everyone who lives here has lost everything. We already know this is the deadliest disaster in the state's history, and the number of those who died is still climbing. This was Lahaina's historic seafront, now reduced to ashes. Bustling streets and shops, all razed to the ground. But it's too early to accurately assess the full extent and impact of this disaster. Buildings burned to the ground have not yet been searched. The fires that claimed them and the lives of those inside may be contained, but they're still burning. Thousands have been left homeless by the ferocious flames fanned by winds from an offshore hurricane.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
They flock to shelters seeking food and water. The need for assistance is great, but so too are the challenges to meeting it. The only land route to those most in need has been blocked. As road access to Lahaina was opened and people started to make their way back to see what, if anything, remains, Hawaii's governor urged people to prepare themselves to witness destruction like they've never seen. Vicse and his family were here on holiday from California. Caught by the flames, they almost lost their lives.
We left our vehicle, and myself, my wife, and our 5 kids, we all got in the ocean. We found a floating board that we hung onto, and we were out there floating. It was just so surreal, and everything was burning around, explosions, cars blowing up.
Even the world's wealthiest have been touched by this tragedy. Oprah Winfrey, who has a home on the island, has come to help. The billionaire Jeff Bezos has pledged $100 million to help with the relief effort. This island, once a picture of paradise, is in pain. Questions are being asked about the preparedness of the authorities and whether adequate plans have been in place to meet the ever-increasing threat of fire.
This can happen again, and so we need to have as many takeaways and lessons learned from this, because it absolutely must not happen again. This was absolutely tragic.
Now they're focused on the immediate task at hand. There is talk of hope and strength and rising from the ruins, but it will cost billions to rebuild, and it's hard for some to even think about that, with so many unaccounted for and unrecovered. Sophie Long, BBC News, Maui.
Captain Vince Carter runs the helicopter tour company Air Maui, and earlier he told us about the moment he realised just how devastating the fires were.
We knew there was fires there previously the night before. We have been having a lot of wildfires on the island previously, so there was already 5 or 6 fires that were currently burning through the night. We knew that the power was out on the other side over there. So there was no word coming back through the night of the destruction of what had really happened there. I was working in the morning. I showed up to work. We had a helicopter fired up, and we went to go see what was going on over there. As we turned the corner around the mountain from the airport, you could see the smoke rising from the city. From the former city, and as we got a little closer, there was a small bit of hope, because there was some southeast condos at a place called Puamana that were still intact, but then quickly as you looked up, you could see about half of that complex was gone, and everything past that, as you were able to see through the smoke, was gone. That was the point that I believe we were the first essentially civilians to see the extent of the damage, and you could tell immediately everything was gone. I mean, we're 80-85% of the place is down to the ground. There was, a pit in your stomach knowing that this is just the tip of the spear, losing buildings, losing property. The way that the winds were blowing 70 miles an hour that night. We got word later that the fire was moving at 40 miles an hour. That's about 60 feet a second, or about 20 meters a second. So it was absolutely just heartbreaking to see that. As we were passing by the marina, you could see there was still boats on fire. If you want a quick wonder of what the destruction could be, wooden slips at the docks were gone. So we're talking things that were floating on water that it was so hot that those lit on fire. As we passed through, flying by the entire length of Lahaina, Front Street is abeam the water and it butts the water. The entire street was down to the ground, and having an intimate familiarity with that, I fly tours over there. I see this stuff every single day. I was just there on Saturday, which was 2 days prior to the fire. And we know all the things that are down there. It's a very small, quaint place. There's art galleries, Wyland art galleries, Cush art gallery. With there was original Salvador Dali works in a different art gallery with Rembrandt also.
That was Captain Vince Carter speaking to us earlier.